Demo discs are unfortunately out of style now. They used to be very popular during the Nintendo GameCube, PS2, and original Xbox era, and there would be times where we would see pre-order bonuses or just in general bonus discs containing trailers and even playable demos of upcoming games. These days, you can just go ahead and download a demo online for free, but being able to have a physical disc that contains these demos is still quite awesome to look at. The main big one that I remember owning during my childhood was this one, the Mario Kart Double Dash game that contained this bonus disc. I remember spending a lot of time playing all the games that were available here, as well as even seeing all the trailers. The original Metroid Prime later received new prints that contained a bonus disc for Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. We also saw that some pre-order bonuses, for example the Wind Waker, if you actually were able to go ahead and pre-order that, you were able to receive a re-release version of Ocarina of Time for the GameCube that also contained not demos, but trailers for a lot of upcoming games. But there are also multimedia GameCube discs that are actually hard to find nowadays and even can cost quite a bit, but those contain demos of upcoming titles as well. Even Resident Evil 4, if you pre-ordered via GameStop, you were able to get yourself a demo disc of the game. One of the last things that I was actually able to find here in my local retro game shop is that they actually had this preview disc for the Nintendo GameCube that contains the Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Beautiful Joe, and Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg as playable demos. It also contains a playable bonus demo of Soul Calibur 2, which for those of you that aren't aware, Soul Calibur 2 released on the GameCube, and the exclusive character or the bonus character that we got there was Link. So if you bought the Soul Calibur 2 game on GameCube, you were able to go ahead and play as Link, and I remember just being a kid being extremely excited about that, since I'm feeling in such a nostalgic mood. But I figured that we would go ahead and just kind of look back and just talk about some of the demo discs here, or just go through some of the stuff here that were available in these discs. I do also have other demo discs, such as some for the PlayStation 2 and as well as for the Xbox original, but I more so mainly in this video want to focus more so on Nintendo, since these are the ones here that I grew up more so playing with. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now the first one that I want to go ahead and take a look at here, guys, is the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time with the Master Quest mode, which was obtainable, like I mentioned, via pre-ordering of the Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. So this is back in, I believe, 2003. I remember my brother came home, and I remember him actually just coming home with this case and everything, and I thought it was pretty cool. And I remember playing this, specifically this version. This is actually the first way that I experienced Ocarina of Time back then on GameCube. So yeah, but if you see here in the bottom corner there, it says press the Z button to enter the movie section of this, but it contains 7 trailers of upcoming titles here for the Nintendo GameCube, and weirdly enough, just one for the Game Boy Advance, but it is fitting because it is a Legend of Zelda game, which was A Link to the Past, which also contained the 4 Swords bundle. So it's interesting that they just went ahead and just mentioned the Legend of Zelda A Link to the Past and not bring up the 4 Swords kind of inclusion of it. Maybe the 4 Swords inclusion wasn't a thing that was kind of promised potentially yet. I could be wrong. Maybe actually clicking and watching the trailer might actually tell me that at the end of it. But I just remember spending a lot of time just looking through every single game trailer here when I was a kid, and just pretty much as a kid, just being like, oh, I want this game, I want that game. And so yeah, so the very first game was of course The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, which I really wanted as a kid. I was so excited for it, and I knew for a fact that my brother was going to get it, and he did pick it up day one. And I remember just playing through The Wind Waker and just loving the game so much, and still love the game to this day. Same goes with Metroid Prime. I remember playing this game. I wasn't big into Metroid Prime yet as a kid. I actually used to find these games pretty difficult, so I didn't really spend too much time on the Prime games or just Metroid in general, but I remember just seeing my brother always play through them, and just seeing Samus and just all the characters and the monster designs and everything, just everything about it was just so badass to me when I was a kid about Metroid. And so lo and behold, once I became older and was actually able to have some form of a brain, to actually solve puzzles and stuff, it's now become one of my favorite series of all time. So yeah, Metroid Prime, it's again an amazing title, especially the remastered on Switch. This right here, I find this to be kind of cool looking back at the select a movie section here, because as you guys can see here, this is for F-Zero, which is interesting because this is the GameCube version of F-Zero, but it doesn't have the final title of the name title, which was F-Zero GX. GX is the actual full name of the F-Zero that we got on GameCube, and so it's pretty cool to just see that it was just called as F-Zero, and not, you know, what we got, F-Zero GX at the end. But yeah, you can tell this is for sure is an early kind of look at the upcoming title there at the time. 1080 Degrees Avalanche. I never played these games, but I remember seeing this trailer actually specifically when I was a kid, and I thought it looked pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't think much of it. Again, never owned it as a kid, but I have heard now that it is still a really fun game, even to go back to. Don't own it or don't have it on my collection. Maybe one day in the future I will pick it up, but yeah, it's that could be something at a later date. Wario World. So this actually just released recently on the Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch 2 GameCube Switch Online kind of service there. And so we're finally able to play Wario World on the Switch, and that's probably the way how I'm actually going to be playing through this game for the very first time. I have always wanted this game when I was a kid, and it's specifically because of this trailer here. This trailer for me is the reason why I wanted Wario World when I was a kid, and just have never picked it up. Just never was able to do so. Again, when this whole collection thing came out, I was barely 5 years old when this came out. So yeah, I just did not have any form of income. It always just depended on what my brothers and my sister, you know, whatever games they got is pretty much what I also got to experience. And so unfortunately, Wario World was not a game that my brother picked up. Thankfully, be able to add this game into my game collection. But yeah, Wario World for sure is just one of those games that I've always wanted to play, and I can't experience it on OG hardware with the GameCube, unfortunately. But hey, you know what? I'll take my chances with the Switch Online, and I'll play it that way. But yeah. And then the hot clip section. This is just basically doing a montage, just showing off all of the other upcoming games that they just didn't have a chance to play to show up here. But yeah, I remember just it being a montage of a bunch of other games that are soon to come out, and I believe also a couple of clips that are also just recently at the time released as well. I could be wrong in that part there, but yeah, but that's basically what the hot clips were. And that is basically it when it comes to the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time plus Master Quest bonus disc kind of bonus movies that we get here on the disc itself. And so really cool of a collection. And yeah, I just remember playing through this multiple times when I was a kid. So I really do love this collection. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's go into our next game. Now, the next disc here that we're going to be taking a look at is going to be the Metroid Prime 2 Echoes bonus disc, which includes basically a demo of Metroid Prime 2, which is also cool because we also received a preview here of the game where we took a look at a trailer, the Chronicles, this is actually pretty neat that I always just forget that this actually existed. Actually, we're able to go ahead and take a look at, and we're also able to take a look at just the info of each game. You know, they provide a little bit of a description of what's going on. So it's really, really dope just kind of being able to see this. And again, it tells you the story of where like each game takes place on. So we have the first Metroid Zero Missions in the middle, which technically actually is a remake of the first Metroid. So it's, you know, this could also be a part of just, you know, kind of being right there next with the original Metroid, but it does include a little bit of extra content. Metroid Prime 1 is next after that, then Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. And then finally, Metroid 2, Return of Samus, Super Metroid, and Metroid Fusion. So just a cool little thing to look at, and as well as even being able to look at the art gallery for the original Metroid Prime 2, kind of giving us a little bit of a video here showcasing just the art. But it's really cool just to look at if it's something that you want to go through. And of course, again, the main big thing about this was the excitement, you know, of being able to play the actual demo for Metroid Prime 2. Oh my gosh. This theme, this menu, everything for me, this for me screams nostalgia. I remember before I purchased Mario Kart Double Dash, I remember before I got this copy that I got here on my GameCube, I specifically wanted to get the version that included the bonus disc, and the main reason why is because this is how I had Mario Kart Double Dash when I was a kid, was I had it with the bonus disc. So I mean, just having Mario Kart Double Dash on its own is still great, you know, because I personally believe that Mario Kart Double Dash for me is just one of the best Mario Kart games ever. But the bonus disc just, made it just so amazing when I was a kid. I remember specifically playing a lot of Mario Party 5. This actually is playable here, so we were able to go ahead and play a demo of Mario Party 5. Same goes with Sonic Heroes. I remember playing... I wasn't a Sonic fan when I was a kid at all or anything, but I remember really enjoying this demo here of Sonic Heroes for some reason. We also got Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3. This was also a playable demo. This one I did play a little bit of it, but I remember when I was a kid, I remember I just didn't know what exactly to do, so I just kind of got bored of it and just stopped playing it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now this one is actually pretty sick. It's basically a hack and slash kind of beat 'em up type of game. And I remember just playing this so much. I don't think I ever actually completed it, but I remember just replaying it over and over again, playing as Leonardo, playing mainly as Raph as well. Like those two were always my favorite turtles, and just yeah, I just remember just loving playing this game, and because of it, it actually made me want to pick up this game at some point in the future, but I just never did, because again, I was maybe like 5 or 6 years old when I was playing through this, so but man, this one specifically brings a lot of good memories for me. NBA Live 2004, this is just a trailer, so not really a big thing. Same goes with SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. Unfortunately, this was not a demo, but I remember just seeing the trailer of this multiple times as a kid as well, and just being amazed and just upset that I could not play this. Again, it was SpongeBob. SpongeBob for me was like my favorite cartoon growing up as a kid. And yeah, man, I would have loved to have been able to play this, but yeah, I mean, and not only that, I mean, Battle for Bikini Bottom is considered to be the best SpongeBob SquarePants game. Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup, this one, I just kind of ignored it just because I wasn't a Harry Potter fanboy or fan in general. I do have a cousin that I think this is the game that he actually has, and I remember him telling me, and again, I could be wrong, but I believe he told me that he got this game as like a Christmas gift with some other game that he got. But yeah, but that's, I know for a fact that I think that he does have this game, or I know he has a Harry Potter game, but I believe it's this one. Kirby Air Ride. I remember seeing this one and thought it looked cute and just also pretty cool, racing around. But again, I wasn't a big Kirby fan at the time, and still currently kind of not really a big Kirby fan. I just think he's alright, I guess, for me. But yeah, I just didn't think much of Air Ride, and I just kind of was just like, I remember being a kid was kind of like, why would I want to play this when I already have Double Dash, I guess, Mario Kart? I don't know. I just didn't think much of it, I guess. Pokemon Coliseum, this one, oh man, you can tell this is a very early, just looking at these images here. But yeah, again, wasn't a big Pokemon fan. It wasn't until I got Fire Red on my Game Boy Advance where I finally did become somewhat of a Pokemon fan. But even then, I just remember just playing the game, beating it, did enjoy it, and loved it, and did actually, I believe I was actually able to capture every single Pokemon in Fire Red back then when I was a kid. But yeah, I don't know what happened to the cartridge. I don't know what happened to just any of that stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe I just lost it or something. But yeah, Pokemon Coliseum, again, just another thing that I didn't care about. 1080 Degree Avalanche, again, like as I mentioned in my Ocarina of Time one, I remember just seeing this trailer, and I believe it's the exact same trailer as you would get in that other one, but I remember just seeing the trailers for this game and just thinking that it looked so sick and just looked so much fun to me. But again, just never got them. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Now, I was actually a big fan of Final Fantasy at this time just because I played through Final Fantasy X on the PS2 and loved that game to death, and I still consider it to be probably my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. But I remember just seeing Crystal Chronicles and wanting to actually buy it, but again, I was a kid, so I just never picked it up. And now that I got older and kind of now know what the game was kind of somewhat about, I'm kind of happy that I didn't pick it up because it is more so multiplayer focused, and I just didn't have, anybody else to play with me, and stuff like that. I was, just alone as a kid. but yeah, so I just, now as an adult, now I realize, okay, I'm kind of happy that I didn't just decide to kind of beg my brothers or my dad to buy it for me. But But yeah, I remember just seeing the trailer and just like it was just like kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Now this is one of the things that made this specific version of Double Dash, or like the bonuses, kind of special, was because you also got bonus items for Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, which I don't know exactly what you would get, nor have I actually attempted to kind of transfer the stuff over. You for sure needed the Game Boy Advance kind of like GameCube plug that you would connect it to your Game Boy Advance and then connect it to one of the controller ports on the GameCube to have this all linked up and synced together. But you were able to go ahead and just get the bonus items. But yeah, I just didn't think much of it, and yeah, I didn't even know what Fire Emblem was when I was a kid or anything. I just kind of was just like, okay, cool, you got some bonus items, I guess, for a game that I just don't think I'll ever really play. So and now the very last thing, which was also another big thing that I actually spent a lot of time playing, and even still to this day, I do not own this game on my collection on GameCube, but I swear one day I will own this game, and that is F-Zero GX, which I personally really loved. I loved the demo for this game. I loved, you know, just looking at the trailers, like I mentioned, at that F-Zero for the Ocarina of Time preview disc that contained in the movie section. Just everything about this looks so epic to me, and even still to this day, even though I haven't really fully dipped my toes into like an actual F-Zero, besides maybe the original F-Zero, I would say, on Super Nintendo, it's still, it really makes me actually want to see an actual brand new F-Zero game come to life, and hopefully someday Nintendo are able to go ahead and make that, maybe with the Switch 2, or just something with Captain Falcon. Honestly, it's just a phenomenal game that, again, it's a series that I also just hope that we get back at some point. And now the very last demo disc that I have here is this one that contains the playable demos of, like I mentioned, Soul Calibur 2, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, Beautiful Joe, Splinter Cell, and Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. And it also includes downloadable, I guess you can say, titles, which is really interesting that I never really knew this was a thing that the demo disc are, I guess you were able to do with Game Boy Advance. Is like, but I guess you're able to go ahead and download and play the full versions of WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. God, I don't even know why I can't even say that. That's a tongue twister for me. Plus Dr. Mario. But you also did get trailers for things just as Soul Calibur 2, The Wind Waker, Rogue Squadron 3, Star Wars, F-Zero, NCAA Football 2004, Madden NFL 2004, and Beautiful Joe and Splinter Cell, and as well as an ESRB rating movie. So quite a bit of stuff, but again, this demo disc for me is still pretty brand new, and it's something that I just never have played myself. So I'm really interested to actually look back and go through the Soul Calibur 2 demo disc, which I'll probably go over with you guys here actually, and show you guys me playing through it. But yeah, that is basically it when it comes to this demo disc. Again, there's no childhood story when it comes to this one, unfortunately, compared to the other ones, but yeah, man, let's just go ahead and let's just take a look at Soul Calibur 2 to end off this this video. And no, Link is not playable. Really? All we get to play is Cassandra and Nightmare. Can we change costumes? We can. Okay. I guess we'll. And they do talk when you actually press a button down. Oh, Raphael is first? Isn't Raphael typically like one of the last guys you fight against? So remember the buns, let's go. Yep. I still got it, guys. I still got it. Nightmare sounds a little bit different, doesn't he? He seems to be having a little bit of a higher voice than... Wait, that sounds like Link's voice actor. Yeah, that's Link's voice actor as Nightmare. That does not sound like Nightmare, bro. What? That's Link! Wait, they swapped out Link's voice with Nightmare? That's crazy. Yeah, that's Link. What? That is so cool. Yeah, that voice actor is Link, bro. What the heck? Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. That does not sound like... I was like, that does not sound like Nightmare. Oh my god. Nah, that's a double KO. Okay, and I lost. Damn. Yeah, but... I think you guys all got the hint there, but... That's insane to me. That's actually pretty cool. I had no idea that that was Link. Like, he is Link's voice actor. With that being said, guys, let me know what demo disc you yourself grew up with playing, and if you still own it, and do you still kind of sit back and just replay through them every now and then. Yeah, man, I grew up more so with the Mario Kart Double Dash bonus disc demo, and just playing a lot of F-Zero GX specifically just made me, made me just so much happier to go through that game. And now as an adult looking back and even seeing games that are already fresh, that are out and that I remember I've spent so many countless hours on, specifically Soul Calibur 2, it's insane being able to spot those differences. Again, that's insane to me. Nightmare, his voice actor is Link. I don't know. That is so cool. Let me know if you guys even knew about that, because I for sure didn't. But with that being said, that's basically about it. So I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Bye, guys.